Ooh, welcome back to Freaky Fellas. Ooh, I'm the Joker, baby.
And I'm
good.
Thank you, Joker baby. And I'm Nam. Yeah.
Yeah, I was deciding what I wanted my profile pic to be this week, and I was like, oh, it'd be funny to do like because the Riddler in the 2022 Batman kind of looked like a gimp, and then I realized that we did that exact joke last year. So
Did we actually?
yeah, we had Abed as Batman, and
Oh yeah. Wait, why are we doing Batman 2 years in a row? That's hilarious.
I know, right? It's
Yeah.
just, but yeah, this is the fourth edition of Freaky Fellows.
Damn.
And, yeah, I know, right? And this year we landed on a bracket day, so we're gonna do a bracket of the worst ways to die. A little morbid, a little scary.
Scary. Also, this would be the third year because we started in 2021, didn't we?
True,
Yeah.
but we did start early in 2021, so we went.
Yeah, so we would have 2021. That's year one. Oh. Yeah. You're right.
Well, it's okay. It's
My
all
bad.
right.
Yeah.
Fourth, Freaky Fellows, and
Yes.
it's gonna be fun. And before we do that, though, how was your week, Mike?
Week was good. Little things that happened throughout the week. Um, I got to spend some good time with my mom a few different times throughout this week, which is good because it was her birthday this week. So, um, but we went on a little walk on like a trail that's near us around here, on Sunday, maybe Monday, something like that. We just went on a little walk. She really loves this time of year. I mean, I love this time of year too.
Yeah.
But she's like she has like photography as like a hobby. Like she likes taking pictures of stuff. Has good camera equipment and good shots, stuff in her mind. And yeah, I mean, with like the leaves changing and everything, she wanted to go see some trees. So we did a little walk for like an hour or so around sunset. Got some cool pictures in there. But then, we also went on another walk later in the week, but I'll get to that when I get there. But, um, yeah, I mean, she's always loved doing fun. I mean, maybe you've noticed when you've come to my house a bit that there's a lot of pictures around. She likes to take a lot of pictures and put them places. For good reason. But
Your mom and my mom have that in common.
does your mom like photography stuff like that?
Yeah, she works with photography and
That's
stuff
right.
like that.
Yeah.
Has her own little photography business. So
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
hit my mom up if you want your wedding photographed, I guess.
Okay. First, I need to find a wife. But unless Colin, I mean, I'll propose on the Freaky Fellas. Yeah, propose on the Freaky Fellas episode. Freaky Fellas 4. Oh my God, the alliteration. Freaky Fellas 4.
Oh,
okay.
Let's go.
Let's go. Anyways,
Let's.
I also had jury duty this week. I was on call for the whole week. I don't see now that because we had to film last week's episode twice. I'm forgetting now what I did mention in the reshoot that I didn't mention in the original one.
Right.
But I had jury duty. I was on for all this week, so basically every night at 4:30 p.m. I had to check, am I supposed to go in tomorrow? And then Tuesday night I did have to go in, and I was like, all right, dag nabbit. That's what I said. And thankfully though, I think the time they called me for was like the latest one that they do. It was like 10 a.m. So like that was nice for me. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't really too much of anything. I just went in there, got my thing scanned. They gave me a little debit card that will be activated in, I think, still like half a week from now. um, um, but went in there, sat down, waited for something to happen for an hour and a half, and it didn't. And I got
Oh,
sent home.
awesome.
Great times. Um, yeah, just
Did
sat.
not take nearly as long for me to get sent home from my jury duty.
Oh, really?
That's yeah. No, I think it was only like, I don't know, maybe a half hour,
Oh,
less than that. Maybe.
yeah. For me, like I like scanned in like my juror badge, and then it was like 9:40. We were supposed to be in there at 10. I was like 9:45 because I'm usually early to things like that. Um,
Yeah.
and then he was like, "All right, we'll let you know if there's something to happen by 11:30." And I was like, "Awesome! I get here early and I get to sit around for an extra 15 minutes." But yeah, I mean, I was
Did you
just
have to leave your phone in the car?
what was that?
I remember having to leave like cell phone out of
Mm.
the in the car. Did you have to do that?
No, they changed that recently. That was like on the
Uh,
paperwork I got. It was like as of uh January. I don't remember what it said now. It said as of this date, you can now have your phone with you, and I was like, so
huh.
everyone was just like even everyone of all ages were in there on their phones the whole time. So pretty much. But yeah, sat there for an hour and a half, just scrolled Reddit a lot. Um, I don't even remember what else I did. I found some good memes to send to my friends. I took a little picture of myself, like a little selfie, and then like did a Snapchat caption saying, "Guys, I didn't do it, I swear," with like the location being the courthouse or whatever. Um, I decided not to post that because I was like, I don't know. But I did send it to my friends. I thought it was funny. Um, my friends on Discord, I should say. Um,
Yes.
and then yeah, the only the only other thing to note from that is that there was like a bunch of vending machines that you can get some stuff out of, and like at the very beginning when I sat down, I was like, okay, well, I might as well get myself some caffeine, and I saw a monster in like one of the vending machines, and it looked like one of those like coffee monsters, like the Java flavored or whatever. Um, and I got it, and it was actually pineapple something, and I was like, okay, well, whatever, I guess. I guess that's what I got.
Oh,
Um,
no.
and I went to
Going
like,
in expecting coffee.
what was that?
Going in expecting coffee and being hit with pineapple.
Yeah, yeah. It's not the greatest contrast in the world. I won't lie. Nothing against pineapple, but I got to be in a mood for pineapple.
Right.
But anyways, I went and sat down. I was like, okay, this thing just came out of a vending machine. It feels like it's a little compressed. I don't know if that's the right word, but it feels like I shouldn't open it right now. It might go boom. So I let it sit for a second. Then a few minutes later, I did that little tapping on the top of it or whatever. But it was still like pretty firm. Like the can itself was firm. Like it was had tension in there. Um, and then I left it for a little bit longer. I'm like, okay, by now it has to be good. And I tried opening up with the tab, but I'm not sure how familiar you are with monsters, but their tabs are like kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And they're kind of hard to work around. Uh, and so I was just kind of sitting there like fiddling with it for a while, and I was like, okay, fuck it, whatever. I'll look like an idiot for a second. I like went down for my teeth or whatever to try it, and I still couldn't get it open with my teeth. So I gnawed on my can like an idiot for a sec. I'm like, oh my god. So I just put it down, and I kept like for the next like hour trying to like see if I could, trying to see if it would finally work.
Like warm as fuck, and you're still like, I
Yeah,
need this.
it wasn't getting warm, thankfully, but like it was an hour of me just sitting there on Reddit trying to fucking open my monster pretty much. Not
Did you try your keys at all? Like, do you?
I thought about getting a coin out and doing that, but I didn't. I don't think the keys would have fit just because of how like the can was. But I would just periodically try it. I don't know if anyone was watching me. I fucking hope not. But it's very possible.
That would be something that I would like
I know.
Just like bored looking around and someone's fucking fiddling with a
That's what I
can for an
mean.
hour. So
Yeah.
funny.
Just see me pick it up again and again and unsuccessfully try to open it.
Nobody asked if you need help or anything. They just
No, and if they did, I would have said no. Actually, I'm kind of glad no one said anything. But yeah, it gets to be I think about 11 o'clock. So like 11:30 is when they dismissed us. I think about 11 o'clock, I finally found a little sweet spot that I could hit with my teeth because I tried my teeth again pretty much. I didn't want to look like I was gnawing on that shit the whole time. But because I was fucking thirsty and I was like, all right, we're going for it. And I was like, okay. And I was finally able to get it from like a very specific angle with my teeth, and I was like, thank God. And then everyone stood up and clapped. It was great. But
as the court adjourned.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, they let us go after I
we
do
find
that.
we find the defendant cool as fuck for getting that can open.
Damn straight, and I got to taste that mid-ass monster. It was not that good.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
That saga.
Yeah, I thought that was an entertaining moment though. But other than that, I also did that again. I don't remember if I mentioned this in the redone episode that we did, but I did a little interview for that TV theme that I made actually about a year ago at this point, but for the series that premiered a couple months ago. Did a little interview with the director and had like a half-hour conversation about my process with making the theme and inspirations and all that kind of stuff, and I think that went well. I don't really get to talk with him all that much just because we have a very working professional relationship, but I feel like him and I kind of share a lot of similar like creative aspirations, I guess. Just him for film and directing and stuff, and me for music. But there was there was a lot of good stuff that happened there. I'm excited for however he decides to release that, and whenever I'll keep posted on here. I did that, and then yesterday my mom and I went on another walk she wanted to go to Starved Rock because that's where you can see some real good trees and take some real good photos. And for those of you who may not know what Starved Rock is, if you're watching and you're not if you're watching and you're not at least a Chicagoan, I feel like people around here would know all that for sure. Starved Rock is basically the only part in northern Illinois where you can actually see natural beauty aside from fields, I guess. It's like there's a lot of rivers that run through there. I think it's literally the Illinois River, but it creates like a lot of like these really cool canyons and hiking spots where you can there's a lot of really cool things to see that you would not expect to be in Illinois, but are there. But it's also just a giant state park. I don't know if it's a state park officially, but giant park like that that has a lot of good sights to see. I don't know why I said that like Trump a little bit, but anyways, yeah, we went there, and that was cool. We went on a lot of trails I haven't been on since I was a kid. One of them being the actual Starved Rock. For a brief history lesson, Starved Rock is a place where I don't remember exactly who it was, but I think it was like settlers or something. Basically chased a bunch of Native Americans on top of this rock, and the Native Americans waited up there so long that they starved to death. And now we have a whole park named after that.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great. Awesome. And I didn't really even connect this until I went there this time. But we not only is that story a great example of, Americanism, but also we decided to put a big American flag on top of that rock. Yeah. I was telling my mom that when we were up there, I was like, man, that's like really not like a good thing that there's a flag of the American flag on this rock where we chased Native Americans on top of to starve to
Yeah,
death. And yeah, a little
mm.
bit, just a little bit. Yeah, but it is a very beautiful place nature wise. It's not like people go there for the history of it. Um, and at least hopefully
Right.
not. Um, but yeah, we were walking along the river a bit. Got to see a couple canyons I hadn't seen. I think we walked for about like 4 miles in total or something, which is quite a bit when it's all those inclines and stairs and shit. Um, got some overpriced food. Got like these really sad looking chicken tenders that were very thin, and some cheese fries with probably the most processed cheese I've ever had before. Got those two
Yeah.
and a drink for I think like $17.
Holy shit.
And those chicken strips were thin, and there was three of them.
Oh.
Yeah, it was not great. But my mom got a corn dog and onion rings that were significantly better, so maybe I just chose the worst options.
Yeah.
But did that. And then there was also, sorry, I just have to tell this little story. There was we were looking in the gift shop a little bit, and there was like this group of like I want to say like 4 or 5 kids that were just in there near the kids section, playing around with the rocks or whatever they had over there. And this older person, I feel like around like our age or something, she seemed like some sort of chaperone to them or something, was like, guys, what are you doing? We are 40 minutes late. We have to get going. We came in here to use the bathroom and we need to get out of here. And they're like, oh, okay, sorry, whatever. And then like as they were all walking out, I hear one of the boys go, I haven't even used the bathroom yet.
Oh no.
That was so funny. It like sounded like something from it sounded scripted, like it was NPC dialogue or something.
Right.
But
Oh my god.
I started laughing, and like the storekeeper who was like behind me was like chuckling at that too.
That's really funny.
I know.
Oh,
That was so good. I loved that. But yeah, we did that. And then we went home and we went straight to a dinner to celebrate my mom's birthday. We went out to a place in downtown place that we live, and I got like some salmon, and there was like purple potatoes underneath it that were really good. And I tried this thing. Have you ever heard of fennel before?
I have, yeah.
Have you tried it?
I might have, but I can't
Mm.
remember a specific time.
Yeah, it was just like a side item on my dish that came with the dish, and I didn't really like it. It was like kind of like it had like the texture of like a harder onion, but it like tasted somewhat like it tasted like pretty sweet. I don't know. It had like a weird flavor to it that I just wasn't vibing with, but got to try that. I'm not a big fan of fennel, me personally. Then we got some desserts there too. They had like these seasonal desserts that weren't really the greatest, to be honest. The food itself was good, like the dinner and everything. Like that salmon was delicious. Yeah. Those potatoes delicious. The appetizers we got very good. But they had like Halloween themed desserts pretty much. And I got like this candy corn brulee because that sounded interesting. And I liked it, but and you like candy corn too, right? Yeah. There's a lot of candy corn haters out there though, and let me just say that would not change any of their minds. You had to really like candy corn in order to like that. That thing was like pure sugar and like honestly a bit much for me, but it was still good. But I feel good on candy corn for the season just after that one dish. Is it like what, sorry?
Was it like colored like candy corn? Like was it just a bunch of melted candy corn with like
I think it was
hard creme brulee top?
Yeah, I think that's literally what it was, what you just described. Which, yeah, it was a lot. And like I said, I think I'm good for the season on candy corn after that. But it was good. But my mom got like this thing that sounded really good. It was like described like it was like pumpkin mousse cake or something like that. which sounds like it would be good, but it was just like this weird mixture of flavors. My mom's theory was that they put too much nutmeg in it. It was just like
Mm.
strangely bitter, for a dessert, and it was a little weird. But
Yeah,
she got herself
yeah.
some like Oberweis pint of ice cream at the gas station. So she got a birthday dessert that she enjoyed. Um, but
When it comes to
yep, sorry.
like pumpkin desserts like that, they can be ruined a lot of the time because people will put a lot of spices like nutmeg, but like
Mm,
clove as well, which is also like a super strong
yeah,
spice.
maybe.
Like to be used in moderation, but a lot of people ruin pumpkin things by doing that. So it might have been
Interesting.
that too.
It could be. That's weird because when I think of pumpkin desserts, I think of things that are sweet, you know. Um,
Right.
but you know, but yeah, and then yeah, that was pretty much all that's happened this week. Other than I've been playing Arkham Knight more and getting more into the flow of it. I'm enjoying that quite a bit. Open world is very very fun on this one. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, and yeah, doing
You listen.
that. I did. Thank you. Um, I only listened to one thing. It was the Godspeed You Black Emperor album that came out, no title. Um, and yeah, I mean, I pretty much had the same thoughts as you. It's just like it's for an album that doesn't say much or say anything really. It says a lot instrumentally about the whole uh, reality of the Palestinian conflict that's happening. The genocide, I should say, the genocide
Yeah.
that is happening. Yeah, sorry. um, I'm not a denier. um, and yeah, I mean, it musically it gets very haunting at points, but it also has that sense of beauty that I've heard in a lot of those Godspeed tracks too. Just like kind of like that. I don't know, depressingly beautiful type sound. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Um, I need to listen to it more before I like have like in-depth rating thoughts. I feel like,
Mm.
but it is a very powerful listen and very very good if you're looking for some stuff like that from what I described. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's it for me though. Sorry, I was talking a while.
Oh,
How was your week, sir? Joker, baby.
baby. My was okay. Just after working for what was supposed to be 6 days in a row, after Sunday, I decided to call off on Monday,
Right.
um, and which was the right call because while I hate calling off work, it makes me very anxious and shaky.
Hmm.
I'd rather do that than have to deal with that for a little while than go in today. So
Yeah.
I called off. I was like, hey, I'm having stomach problems, and my manager, she was like, okay, I hope you feel better.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, well, and then I relaxed for Monday. I played games, Hi-Fi Rush, Hyrule. It was the new Zelda game I bought that I talked about, and
Hmm.
also um, uh, Stardew. I've been playing a lot of Stardew this week. Been grinding, as they say.
Of course.
Um, but other than that, I've been working. Max came back on Tuesday. He's been working quite a bit as well. Pretty much the same. Well, she had the same kind of schedule situation that I did, where like she came back and then Wednesday through. Well, she gets tomorrow Sunday off, uh, but yeah, she still had like a long stretch of work after coming back.
Hmm.
Um, that's okay. But boy, I'll tell you, the customers this week have been nightmares.
No pun intended. Maybe. I don't
I,
know.
it was just bad.
Yeah.
Like this 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 week, I don't know what happened, but I was in the hole, which is taking orders and money. Um, and it was Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday. This dude came through, and he was like, "We have the chicken Big Mac right now, which is the it's the Big Mac, but with big chicken nuggets instead of beef and no onions on it.
Okay.
And the guy was like, "Yo, could I get the chicken Big Mac? But can you replace the patties with hot and spicy?" And I was like, "No." And he was like,
Mm.
"Why not?" And I explained to him that the the chicken that's on the Big Mac is not a McChicken. It's like a big chicken nugget. And he's like, well, "I know, but like, why can't I just like substitute it out?" And I'm like, "Because it's not an option.
Mm.
Yeah, I can't." And he was like, "Well, it's a special request, but okay." And this dude is like our age, maybe a
Mm.
little younger,
That makes sense.
maybe a little. And I'm like, yeah, like why would you say, "Oh, it's a special request"? Who gives a? I don't give a fuck what kind of request it is.
Yeah. Oh, it's a special request.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm so sorry, sir. But it's like, even if I wanted to substitute it out, it's that there's nothing I can really do on a lot on all the other sandwiches on the entire menu. You can sub things out, add things on, but the chicken Big Mac is very limited for some reason.
Mm.
So like even if I wanted to sub something out like that, I don't have the option to do it. And I'm not going to go to the kitchen and be like, "Hey guys, I know it's not what you usually do, but it was a special request."
Right.
Um,
Oh, it was a special request. Just
yes,
everyone all at once, yeah.
uh, but he's like, "All right, let me just get a regular Big Mac then and a large Coke." And I was like, "Okay." And as he was driving off, well, like right before he drove off, he said, "Make sure there's two on there." And I was like, "Two of what?" But before he answered, he drove off. So I didn't hear it. So he didn't clarify or anything.
Yeah.
He came up to the window and I gave him his total. He paid. Um, and he was like, and that was it. But he got up to the second window and he's like, "I asked for two Big Macs. I asked like 5 or 6 times. I
Oh
asked
my
him 5 or 6 times." And like shoved his card in my coworker's face in the
god.
second one to pay for it up front. And she was like, "You can't. I can't do that back here. Up here, you gotta go back around."
Yeah.
And at that point, I was just super done. I was in the hole for like I don't know 3 or 4 hours at that point,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I can't stand this shit anymore. And he came back around and he's like, "Hey man, I asked for two Big Macs. I asked you 3 or 4 times." And I said, "No, you didn't.
Mm.
You did not. You asked me about the chicken Big. I went through the whole thing. I was like, you asked me about the chicken Big Mac. I told you couldn't do what you wanted to do with it, and then you asked for a Big Mac and a large Coke, and that was it." And he said, "No, I told you to make sure there were two on there." And I said, "I asked you two of what?" And you drove off before you answered me. So this is not my fucking fault, dude.
Yeah.
And he just like would not let it go. And I was like, you can have another Big Mac. You just gotta pay for it because I thought he was trying to get it for free or something. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Yo, that's fine." And I was like, "Okay, this is your total." And luckily, I was getting out of the hole going on break before he pulled up to the window. But I was like, I was about to strangle this man. It was
Yeah.
just, it was so fucking annoying.
Some people, man.
Um,
Yeah.
I know.
Just so
It's just,
entitled with that type of shit.
I know. It's like obviously you didn't ask 3 or 4 fucking times. If you had
Right.
asked 3 or 4 fucking times, I would have heard you. But you didn't. You asked once on your way to the window without clarifying. So I didn't know whether you wanted two Cokes or two Big Macs, and you did not fucking. And when you heard your total, it didn't sound like you had two Big Macs on there, did it?
Yeah.
I told you, I told you it was like $9. If you had two Big Macs on there, it would have been like 15. So I don't want to fucking hear it. Um, but yeah, it was just like that was ridiculous. And then today, um, our general manager was in when I got in, and I was like, already that's a bad day.
Mm.
And then and I looked down after I clocked in, and I was put on bagging orders for the lobby. I looked down and I saw a phone that I hadn't recognized, and it flashed on, and I saw the face of my regional manager, the one that was there on homecoming that did not know how to run the store. if you remember. And I went, oh no,
Wait,
fuck.
sorry, I'm not following. You saw the phone?
Yeah, his phone was the regional manager's phone was sitting on like this
Oh,
middle area.
okay, yeah.
And it flashed on, and his lock screen was him and his kid.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh, I see. Okay, I
then
get you now. I get you now.
I hadn't seen him when I clocked in or anything.
Yeah.
Just seeing that and realizing that he was there made that day go from bad to worse.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and like I said, after homecoming weekend, he doesn't know how to run our store.
Mm-hmm.
He's a complete asshole, and we all hate him. But he was just a terrorist the whole time, just completely awful to all of us, including our managers, and just like micromanaging every little thing without even trying to help anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of standing there with his arms crossed, barking orders. Um, he made one of our coworkers cry because she was told to take orders up front because there were people coming into the lobby, and then originally she was bagging orders, and he was like, "Why is nobody bagging orders? Why is nobody bagging these orders? Who's supposed to be up here?" And my one manager was like, "Hey, she was."
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and he was like, and he just like yelled at her for like not being where she was supposed to be, even
What
though
the
she was
hell?
told just a second ago to go take orders by our manager.
Yeah.
And so I was on break, and she came back, and she was like really upset and crying, and I was like, "He's a fucking asshole. You can't. It's just
Yeah.
you know, he'll leave soon, hopefully, but like just don't let him get to you that bad." Um, and then Max had a shitty customer experience as well, uh, where this woman, um, she she was trying to pay for her order or something, and Max thought that she was getting more money from her, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and something like that.
Do you want me to?
Do you want here? I'll let Max tell the
Oh my
story.
gosh.
We
Featuring
got something
Max.
to tell us more.
So basically, she already treated one of my coworkers with a nasty attitude when she took her order.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's handing me the 20, but she has these ones in her other like fingers or whatever. So I thought maybe she was handing me more than a 20. So I don't have a full grip on the 20. The 20 falls out of her hand. And then she goes, "Oh my fucking God." And then she opens the door, bends over, goes, "Are you insert R slur?"
Mm-hmm.
And then picks it up and says, "Can you hold the fucking money?" And so I take it, I close the window, I get her change, and then I throw her change into her fucking face.
Mm.
Because I don't give a shit, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that happened. And then she went up and she complained and wanted a refund. And maybe my name, I don't know.
But, yeah. And so our regional manager was like, "I need to have a talk with you," and just like asked her what happened, and Max was truthful and told him what happened and what she did, and it's like, because like who gives a fuck? It's like you're gonna call somebody a slur in the drive-through for no fucking reason. There's never a reason for that to begin with, but like
Right.
just doing that, like out of nowhere, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And it's like,
Yeah.
you deserved it. And all of this, she had a kid in her car too, so she was doing this in front of her kid, or her brother or something. And she just, some people just deserve to have their money thrown in their face. So it's like, yeah, just real shitty entitled people through the drive-through this week.
Yeah, fun week at Mickey D's.
That and an E. coli outbreak. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it wasn't our store or any store around us that
No,
was affected.
it was.
But yeah, there was something wrong with like either the quarter meat or the onions or lettuce or something on like quarter pounder.
Mm.
So there were a good few cases of E. coli in McDonald's. So
Wow.
make sure your stores aren't affected by it before you go to McDonald's. But
Yeah,
plenty of people are coming through ours.
Keep an eagle eye out for that E. coli.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a good slogan. I think the FDA should use that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and on top of like the regional manager, he stayed there and for a good while, and we were trying to run the store as we usually do, and it runs fine. It runs completely fine when he's not there, but when he's there, he tries to change everything that we do. And it's like, this isn't helping anything. This is making us run slower and worse because we're not used to the way that you want us to run the store. And so we have for the sauces for like nuggets and everything, we have like little bins that we have to refill and stuff.
Right.
And there's black ones that we put up on the shelves to like, as they look uniform, they look nice, and that's how we're supposed to do it. And then there's gray ones that go down in the window for the drive-through, so if people ask for sauces, you can just reach down and grab them. They don't look as nice, and that's where they go. That's what they're for.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of those gray bins, and we use them just to restock our black ones, and then we fill those up when they need to be. And I took a gray bin, and I filled up my barbecue sauce or whatever in the drive-through, and he was already talking to our one manager and like criticizing how we do things and like telling him what to do, even though he's been a perfectly fine manager for however long he's been there.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that, and he goes, "So what was the point of that? Why did you do that?" And I said, "To restock the sauces."
Yeah.
This is how we've been taught. This is how our GM has taught us. This is how a bunch of the other big managers have told us to do it. We don't put the gray buckets up there because they don't look as nice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we do. And he goes, "How does it make sense though? Nothing don't make no sense," is what he said. And I was like, okay. And I just kind of let him be. But I was like, this is so fucking, I hate that man so much. He made me angry the entire time he was there, just with his presence. And I hate that he feels like he can just be on a power trip the entire time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just a complete asshole, and that's how people in power usually go. But
yeah,
other than work, on Monday I went and hung out with some of my coworkers.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. We drove around aimlessly for a little while because my one coworker that was driving was like, "Where are we going, guys?" And we were like, "I don't know, you're driving." And we just kind of aimlessly drove around for a little bit. Mm-hmm. We went to parts of town that I've never seen or been to, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know this was here." There was like a weird storefront that was like it was like 2 levels with different stores, and the way it was lit looked like it was like a fucking like a stage play. Like just the way it was lit, it looked all fake and painted and shit.
Interesting.
It was like it was real, but I was like, this is such a weird area. This all feels like super old, out of like the 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was cool. We went to Walmart and walked around for a while.
It's always fun.
Oh yeah. And then we got Taco Bell, and we were like, where are we gonna eat this? And we were like, let's just go to McDonald's and eat it. Our McDonald's. Mm-hmm. And the lobby was already closed at that point. It was like 11:30 or so, and we had, our one manager was in charge that night, and we got there, and my one coworker, he was just banging on the glass to get his attention. Mm-hmm. He's like, what do you guys want? He's like, and they were like, we got a DoorDash. He's like, okay, what are the numbers? And they both said different numbers. I think one of them said 911, and the other said 2 different numbers. He's like, how are you gonna have 2 different numbers? He's like, get in here before all these fuckers try to get in here. And the lobby was closed, so we were just sitting and eating as these people who were just like waiting for their DoorDashes and their mobile orders to come out. And they were just kind of like staring at us the whole time. It was like super weird. And it's like, sorry guys, we just get special treatment. But
yeah.
And when I got in the car to begin with, one of them was like, "Do you like Diet Coke?" And I said, "Yeah, I like Diet Coke." And the guy whose car it was, he opened the trunk and he had a 12-pack of cans of Diet Coke, and the box was like real beaten up and dirty, and I was like, where did this come from, and why does it look like this? And they were like, no reason. And I said, where did you get this? And he said, I don't really want to tell you. I was like,
What?
I don't know if I want this.
Yeah, maybe I don't want the Diet Coke.
And they had gotten it from like somebody had left it behind in a cart at Meijer, and like the parking lot. And they found it like a week or so ago, and they just haven't given it to anybody. And it was all beaten up and gross looking. I was like, I don't really want this. But like throughout the night, they're like, "You gonna take it, right? You gonna take it?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then before I left, he was like, "You want the Diet Coke?" I was like, "No, I don't think I really want the Diet Coke." He said, "Okay."
He was trying.
He was. And I give him props for that. But yeah. Then yesterday, on Friday, it was the time of the year again for Good Mythical Evening, the night where Rhett and Link go R-rated and they say swear words and
like fucking shit.
Yes, exactly. And then do a lot of stuff with like sex toys and things.
And
Good
thing it's not X-rated.
Oh yeah, thank God. Maybe next year. But,
maybe next year.
But John had been. John's also a big fan of Good Mythical Morning. He's been watching it for about the same time as me, as he was saying today. And he a couple weeks ago he got an ad for it on Snapchat, and he's like, "We watching this together?" And I said, "I already bought my ticket. We can." And so he was like, "Okay." And then I made my merry way up to his house, and and that very dark drive.
Yes.
And I almost passed his house, but I remembered the broken fence next to his driveway, and I was like, "That's it. That's the one." But we sat around. I got the ticket that included the pre-show, the big show, and the after show.
Damn.
And as well as it came with a T-shirt for the event as well. So it was only like $60 for all that. So I was like, "Hey, I'll take it."
Actually, yeah, that's not too bad. Especially shirt included.
Right.
Yeah.
And as well as a 1 month free subscription to their Mythical Society app.
Oh, wow.
Which is where the pre-show was supposed to be. I tried to get on it for a while, but the app wouldn't let me log in. And a lot of people were having the same problem. And on Twitter, like 10, 15 minutes into it, they posted on Twitter, they were like, "Don't worry, you don't have to be in the app. You should have gotten a link emailed to you at 6 p.m. today." And everyone, including myself, was like, "We didn't get that." No link was sent. No help. And then at like 8:35, 8:40, I was finally able to log into the app and get into the pre-show. And they were playing a game that like we had no context for, so we were just like watching them do something we have no idea what. And then like 5 minutes after that, they were like, "All right, well that's the pre-show. We'll see all y'all in Good Mythical Evening." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But it's fine. The pre-show is just where they get drunk to begin with. So.
They just pre-show at the pre-show. That makes sense. Or pre-game at the pre-show. That's what I meant.
Yeah, but it was good. Good Mythical Evening was good this year.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, just before you get into it, weren't they having technical issues like that last year too? I feel like I remember you talking about it.
I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but they used an app or a website where like it completely crashed when they tried to do it, and then they had to completely reschedule it till like a week later.
That's right. Yeah.
And so, yeah, that luckily nothing has happened since I switched over websites that they've been using it on. They're doing it on, but it was still like, damn, how is this free show?
Yeah.
It's whatever. It's okay, but it was good. Had a good time watching it with John. Um, it was good. Nothing like. I mean, there was plenty crazy. They had a bunch of cinematic bits that they put in where they were trying to exorcise a demon out of a sex doll.
Yeah.
And they called in this exorcist, and it was just Link's dad. So it was very funny. It was a good time. Always good show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically my week. Just work and a couple special events. But I listened to after the Serge Tankian episode of Last Meals a couple weeks ago. I got an itch to listen to some more System of a Down because I'd only listened to Toxicity last year or so. And so I was like, all right, I'll check out one of their other albums. So I listened to their self-titled debut, and it was good. I had a good time with it. It was just as weird and noisy as Toxicity, but there were a couple songs where I was like, oh, I recognize this, and it was good. I like their vibe a lot, but it's definitely a band that I need to like sit down and like look at the lyrics I listen to because it's very all over the place, and like I know they're very like they're very into like social justice and social problems, so and societal problems. So that's what a lot of their music pertains to. And I'd like to like sit down and like actually digest what they're saying. But it was good. I had a good time with it.
Cool. Yeah, they're a band that I need to, at least Toxicity, I need to check out in general. They've been on my list for a while.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they could go on the wheel if we really wanted to.
Yeah, they could. They got 5. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my week though.
Cool.
Both talked for a good long time there.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, we do have a themed episode, but it's okay. It's all right. We don't got. I mean, at least on my end, there's no time constraint or anything. But yeah, I don't really have much news other than a tiny bit of music news. In that I think we mentioned a few weeks ago now at this point that it was confirmed that 21 Pilots would have a new single for the next season of Arcane that's coming out called The Line. And that did get leaked yesterday. Woo! Name a better duo than 21 Pilots and leaks.
Listener.
Yeah. And I mean, I was a little bit of a leak listener. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm sorry. I did. Yeah, I did the same thing I did with Clancy. I only listened once, and I'm gonna save it until a month from now when the actual song comes out. But the version, I'm not gonna spoil anything, or I mean, I can say what my initial feelings were if you want, but the version that I got, I'm like almost 100% positive this isn't in the actual song, but someone put like their own little like tagline in there, like a producer tag or something that like kept showing up. It was like this weird like high pitched like vocal saying, I don't even remember what it said, but it was saying the same thing over and over again. It sounded like a producer name or something. I was like, there's no way that's in the actual song, right? I'm like almost positive it isn't because it sounds terrible.
Like audio jungle.
Yeah, it's like something like that, but it's also like just like kind of perfect. I mean, no pun intended. It's like perfectly on that line of like, is this in the song and just a really bad decision, or is this like just someone putting their own tag over this leak so that people hear their tag? That's
fun.
Yeah.
Metro.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's just something that happened, I guess, music wise.
Yeah.
But I will not touch on that until a month from now when it actually comes out.
Okay. I'll try to stay strong, but see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
there was also a couple of Tyler the Creator singles and dropped this week. I don't know if this actual full single of the thing he posted earlier today came out, but he posted 2 videos on Twitter first, and well, probably YouTube too, for Noid.
For some reason, I thought we talked about that, but that came out on Monday, so we could not have. So
Sure.
Yes, thank you for catching up.
For his song Noid, and for They Thought I Was Dead, or Thought I Was Dead. And they're both like super cool in like black and white gradient for like kind of greenish black and white. Just like the way that it's super cool and cinematic. Io Edibiri was in Noid, and that was super cool. She's in the bear and everything. She also was one of the new emotions, Envy, and Inside Out too. Yeah, so
that's is Envy a green emotion? I don't remember.
She was like teal. So.
Oh, okay.
Greenish blue.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I liked that first one a lot. Plus the whole song was very good too. The video wasn't even the whole song. I think the video was like 2 minutes and some change.
Tyler
the whole
does
song
that a lot, yeah.
And the video was like what, like 5, or not the video. The song was like almost 5 minutes or something. That was cool. And then they Thought I Was Dead was dropped while I was at work, but I watched it a little while before the pod, and I thought that was cool too. Just a lot of like Tyler in like by a cargo plane, on top of a cargo plane, in his chromacopia get up with the crazy hair and the army general outfit. But I like the lyrics on that one a lot, and I'm looking forward to hearing the full version.
Yeah. I mean, just briefly, Noid, I enjoyed quite a bit. I like the like psych rock feel that it has to it. Little guitar and the drum pattern that keeps getting repeated throughout is really nice, and that last verse is very, very good. I enjoyed that one a lot, and I only listened to "Thought I Was Dead" once, shortly after I woke up. So I did, but I did enjoy what I heard. It kind of, for some reason, when I listened to it, it reminded me of some of the stuff you would hear in like Wolf era Tyler, which was pretty cool. It was like Wolf mixed with Call Me If You Get Lost a bit.
Yeah. I kind of felt that way too after you said it when I was listening to it for the first time. Just like the only time, but just like when it first started, I was like, okay, yeah, I can see the Wolf influence a little bit, like you were saying.
Yeah, it's like the most, I think. I mean, he was doing like some, like, he was rapping, right? He was rapping on Call Me If You Get Lost as well, but like I feel like on here it was even more in that energy than on that last album, at least I can remember. But it was cool. I enjoyed it. I liked the vocal inflections he was doing throughout a lot of it. I think that's what John was saying when it was reminding him of K Dot a little bit. Tyler was doing a lot of different voice stuff that I feel like we don't hear all that often, at least like within like a singular verse. So
it sounded really good. I was very excited for that full album.
Yeah, and we will talk about that next week.
Sure will.
That's actually crazy. I'm looking at the date right now. Doesn't that come out in 2 days? It does.
Yeah.
It doesn't even feel like it.
It doesn't. It comes out at 6 a.m. on Monday morning. So
6 a.m. our time?
Maybe Eastern, but
Am I staying up?
Don't bother.
Yeah, I shouldn't. But
he tweeted, he was like, just listen to it when you wake up. Don't deprive yourself of sleep for something that's going to be there when you wake up.
Yeah, okay. But and you get likes on Album of the Year. I'm kidding.
But yeah, very excited for that.
Me too.
Yeah, we'll see. We might do a track by track on Chromacopia.
We sure could.
Yeah. So yeah, get ready for that as well. But also in terms of Chromacopia, Tyler revealed that he's going on a tour. Crazy.
What?
With with Lil Yachty and Paris, Texas, I think.
Okay.
Something like that. I don't remember.
I know that's a band name, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that Lil Yachty, it'd be really cool to see some of his stuff from his last album. I'm forgetting the name of it now, but
shit, why am I also? I like that album a lot.
right, me too.
Let's start here. There you
Let's start here. Yes, but I'm tempted to maybe go. We'll see how crazy expensive prices for tickets are.
Yeah.
But you know, I'd really like to broaden my horizon on different kinds of concerts I've been to. Because I've mostly been to rock or alternative kind of concerts. So going to like a rap show would be like a really different thing. So
What do
it'd
you
be
mean?
cool.
We went to see 21 Pilots earlier this year.
That is true. I think
Yeah.
they are pretty. They love their hip hop.
They are rap and
the
hip hop.
um, but yeah, we'll see how expensive those tickets are. But
Yeah.
I'm tempted.
Speaking of tickets, I just was reminded of something I saw earlier this week on the Tyler the Creator subreddit. Because Tyler's doing like a listening party in LA at one of the arenas, and like the tickets are being sold for like $5. I'm pretty sure he did it through Ticketmaster. I could be wrong about that, but like, they got sold out really fast, and scalpers were reselling those shits for like $150 to $200. It's like, oh my god. Exactly. It's like, oh my fucking god. And there were some people in the comments like trying to justify it like slightly, just being like, well, I mean, I've seen worse ticket prices than that. It's like, bro, it's a listening party. It's not it's not a show. Yeah.
And the fucking tickets were $5.
Yeah.
You can't justify that.
Yeah, no, I was just like, oh my god. I mean, I would be mad about that if that was like something happening in Chicago or something, but like since it's in LA, I can laugh at the absurdity of that.
Right. But yeah, that's cool. I'm very excited for that. I don't know if I have any other music news, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't got anything down, to be honest.
Yeah. And news, don't have a whole lot either. There was a another Jubilee debate video, but this time it was Ben Shapiro versus like 26 woke.
I saw one part of that. I saw probably the viral part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, like the trans dude that was going on. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good bit. I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
But I was watching. I've been kind of going back and forth watching that the last couple of days, and it's like good because I like seeing the discussion between different sides of the aisle and everything. But God, conservatives really don't like letting other people talk at all.
Yeah.
Especially Ben Shapiro, and it's just like hearing his fucking annoying nasally voice the entire time is like, shut the fuck up. you shut the and it's just like but yeah, not all of the woke people were great, but there were a couple people that were well spoken and well educated on their topics. So it was, it's cool to see Ben Shapiro get schooled, but also he acts like he didn't just get schooled. So it's like,
right,
man. But it's not like news, but I just I like those videos sometimes. So I was like, all right,
yeah.
I
don't got anything. I'm sorry.
But yeah,
okay.
it's slow.
All right. Well, that's where we're good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, at this 58-minute mark of this video, I think it's a perfect time to transition over into our little spooky, really scary bracket of the worst ways to die.
Usually I have just that tab open, but whatever.
So yeah, I mean, at least the way that we pitched this to each other. Oh, hold on, I should probably. Oh wait, why is this not like even? Okay, it's fine. We're good. Just readjusting the screen slightly. Yeah. Oh, could you turn your phone to the side?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, the way we pitch this to each other is the worst ways to die. So I think that's what we'll be doing for for this. Now, just a note that I think should be said beforehand. Neither Colin and I have died before,
True.
so we can't necessarily effectively determine, like objectively what is the worst way to go out.
Yes.
But we can
We're,
certainly
we're going on vibes alone.
yeah, we're going on vibes. Yeah. We're doing this death tier list based off vibes. Which one has the most bad juju? Yeah, that's perfect. I love that. Yeah. So, let's just get into it. What's the worst way to die?
We'll see. But first off, we got guillotine versus car accident.
Man, shout out John Bellion and I don't know, 21 Pilots, Car Radio. I don't...
Next semester, car radio.
Yeah, shout out next semester, yeah. Well, see, and I was thinking about this when I was making the list too. Some of these, it really depends on the severity of the situation, and like car accident definitely fits that. It's like because if it's a bad enough car accident, you're not gonna feel shit. But if it's
Right.
if it's not quite bad enough, you're gonna feel a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and guillotine is just like
It's more the lead up than anything.
Yeah, it's the build up, it's the build before the drop.
Yeah, that's a good drop in that song. So
True. Also, a good drop of the blade on the person's
true.
neck.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Sorry, I did not. That didn't connect that when he said that.
I actually, I don't know. I was kind of doing a double wordplay, but but yeah. I mean, good historical context. Shout out France.
Yeah, they were doing guillotine executions up to the year that the first Star Wars was released. So.
Oh, true. Yeah. But that's actually another aspect of this too, is that guillotine, it's like, other people are watching this happen.
True.
Like
True.
this is a public spectacle most of the time, I think.
Yeah.
So
But there's also a saying that like it's like a car wreck, you can't look away.
that's true. That's true. That is true. I mean, I feel like in terms of worst, like, I mean, I'm sure there's been botched guillotines, and I don't even want to think about that. But like a successful guillotine versus just dying by car accident, I feel like the car accident could be worse. Because I feel like a lot of times you hear like, they didn't, they're in critical condition afterwards, and then they die at the hospital later or something like that.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like car accident has more potential to be prolonged than guillotine.
And like also think about guillotine. Usually, well, I mean, I won't say usually, but like when you think of like guillotines or executions like that, there's usually a reason for that. So
That's
maybe you were
also
a bad person. Maybe you're a bad person. You did something wrong. You killed somebody else. Something
Maybe you
like
get
that.
something you fucking deserve, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe you were the king and queen of France, and there was a revolution.
Yeah.
But with a car accident, there's so many different like factors. I feel, and it can also be like super grisly.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying getting your head off isn't grisly at all. It's definitely gross and icky. But I don't know. I think car accident is a much like just more violent and awful way to go out. Especially, I mean, depending on the severity and everything.
Right.
But like, and including like motorcycle accidents and like that, those get even worse. So it's like, I don't know, guillotine's bad. I would never want to be guillotinized, but I think car accident deaths are a lot worse than that.
Well said. Like, couldn't have said that better myself.
All right, you want a car accident too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Just making sure. Alrighty. Car accident did not. Oh,
It did not
hello?
go through. Hello.
God. There you
God's interfering with our death bracket.
go. All right, and up next we got Firing Squad versus Avalanche.
Wow.
Ooh.
Very different. Yeah.
Well, yeah, very, very different circumstances here. Another execution type with Firing Squad. Not great. Hopefully they get it done and over with real quick.
Right.
It's also just like the circumstances of like having to look at a bunch of people aiming rifles and things at you
Yeah.
before you go out, which is bad.
Yeah.
But being covered with either rocks or snow or both, and being crushed, and if not crushed, then like not being able to move and like freezing or starving to death on top of all that,
Yeah.
not great, I would say.
Yeah. Avalanche is mostly just snow, right? Like, I think
Yeah,
I think rocks would
it's
be like
any.
landslide.
Yeah, I think they're different words for the same situation, kind of
Yeah.
thing. So it's like it's either snow or rock or both.
Right.
But yeah,
I mean, Avalanche is basically getting buried alive, and like
right.
something that we'll see probably more into this tier list is like, I think the longer it gets prolonged, the worse it would be to go out. And Avalanche, I feel like that's like a prime example of something that could last days.
Yeah,
Since,
yeah,
yeah, I feel like, I mean, Firing Squad isn't great either. Like you said, there's that anticipation, but yeah, I mean, Avalanche just like, you're terrified if anyone's gonna find you for that entire time.
yeah. It's like a 27 days, or no,
Yeah,
not 27.
127 hours. Yeah.
27 days later is a fucking zombie movie, but
Right. Yeah.
yeah, Avalanche is a lot worse, I think.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right, Avalanche, I do that. And up next, we got Tornado versus Buried Alive.
Hmm. And Buried Alive, I think, could arguably be the Avalanche as well. A little bit. Tornado.
Um,
See, I was thinking, because I put Tornado in here, and I was thinking about that. I was like, I would you pass out? Like, I feel like you
I
would.
don't know. I feel
Yeah.
like if it's severe enough, it's like an F5 or whatever. You're dragged into the air or whatever. You're like flung at very long distance, and you like I guess you like fall to death. Maybe
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you would have to pass out just from like the speed that your body is going, but
it's
maybe not.
possible.
I don't know. I keep thinking of like that. Have you seen the original Twister?
Yeah, where they like put. Well, I'm thinking of the end where they like belt themselves to like a
Oh,
lead pipe.
I was thinking of the beginning when I think it's one of their dads when they were a kid or something. Like he's going down to like into the storm cellar and he gets sucked away like before he gets
Oh
down
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
know.
That's scary.
Definitely for sure. Yeah, especially for a couple Midwestern boys here.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but growing up, I was absolutely terrified of bad storms and tornadoes. So
I don't know how we haven't talked about this before because I also was like absolutely terrified. Like seriously, that was a big fear of mine for a long
uh-huh.
time, and like I still get that a little bit when it's like
Uh-huh. Yeah,
tornado weather. But
but I didn't grow up with a basement or anything, so we had a little
oh
like
shit,
yeah, we had a little like closet under the stairs that we had to like drag all the stuff out of when the storm got bad and like all huddle in there.
yeah,
Um, but it's like that made it even scarier. But yeah, I
yeah,
was absolutely terrified of tornadoes and even just storms back in the day. And
yeah.
I'm still a little squeamish about some storms, but tornadoes still scare me a good bit.
I'm surprised
But
we've never talked about this before because literally I relate to everything you said there. Like I very
yeah,
much was really scared of storms, like even light ones for a little bit there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um, we might have, but hey, it's
maybe. I
been almost 4 years. So it's
true, true. Um,
um,
but well, I meant like even personally. I feel like I've
yeah.
never
Oh yeah. Yeah.
mentioned us mentioning that even in personal time. But anyways, yeah, tornado sounds scary. Buried alive also is pretty scary though.
Uh-huh.
I had a song written about being buried alive,
Huh.
um, called "Buried." Uh, but hmm, I don't know. Like for me, the tornado feels worse,
Yeah.
but like once again, the buried alive would be a prolonged thing. Like I'm thinking, like Kill Bill Volume 2, or like
Um,
uh I don't know. I think there was a movie entirely based in a being buried alive, like Coffin or something.
yeah, just like those scenes in movies where it's like dark, and for some reason the person has a match, but they light it and they're just completely underground,
Yeah,
and it's very quiet and muffled, and they're just like scratching at the coffin to get out.
yeah,
Um, and it's like, that's terrifying. I would never ever want that to happen. But that's also like a suffocation, starvation, dehydration type of thing,
yeah.
and those are all here, and we'll
True.
get to those later. But all of those combined, not great. But I think just like the thought of like being sucked up by a tornado and like thrown super far to your death, or
Yeah,
however you died from a tornado, is just like really scary, and I don't want that. So,
yeah,
there's no situation where I feel like I'd be buried alive, but tornadoes are a very real and scary thing that Midwesterners know about. So,
right. I think that's the other thing about this is like I'm trying to think of a scenario in which, I mean, other than avalanche, like we had before, where you would
right.
be buried alive, like unless you're like literally in cahoots, well, not cahoots, but in like you're super unfortunate enough to get like paired with in the situation with the serial killer or something. Like I feel like that's the only case in which you're getting buried alive.
Yeah.
um, like so like kind of expanding off of what you just said, like the tornado is a very realistic thing. Well, I feel like buried alive is like kind of more just like something you see in movies. I feel like that doesn't happen all too often, at least to the extent of you're in a coffin underground dying in that way.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
yeah. So
yeah.
I think I'm leaning tornado a little bit there. Yeah.
Oh, I see. I repeated one. Um, I'll
Really?
just I'll just move on. Burning alive, because I repeated firing
Oh,
squad.
all right.
Uh, burning alive is bad.
That's okay.
All right. Next we got eaten alive versus sinkhole.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So when we say sinkhole, define that. Like just like the ground
Yeah.
opening up underneath you and you falling in?
Yeah. Like you see those videos of like sinkholes opening up and just everything being sucked into it around, like cars and everything,
Yeah.
just being sucked into the ground, like, and falling into it.
Yeah.
Um, like eaten alive, animals, polar bears, lions, whatever.
Yeah. Well,
Or
yeah, I got that one.
yeah, just clarify.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Hmm.
Um,
I mean, sinkhole is bad. Like that sounds
yeah,
like, I mean, I don't know how deep sinkholes go. Um,
yeah,
you have no idea, you said?
yeah, no. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I imagine, like, I don't know, from the videos that I've seen where singles open up, it doesn't. I've seen like whole cars get like sucked into the ground, so it's like,
Yeah.
it's possible that it goes pretty far down, but I'm
I
not
yeah,
sure.
the reason why I say that though is because it doesn't seem like it would be like you would die from fall damage. But hey,
Ooh,
instead
yeah,
you would die from like, hit or like you would die from like hitting your head and not quite dying that way or something, or getting crushed or something like that. Like it seems like it'd be another factor besides just falling,
yeah,
um but like so that sounds pretty bad, but like I don't know, eaten alive, that's like going for all the senses, and it's slow and prolonged. Like
yeah,
that's just like that, like, and that's also like you were saying with like animals and stuff, you hear stories of like, people eaten alive by bears or something like that, and
uh,
it's like, oh my god, that can't even, it's like literally horrific.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't think of much worse off the top of my head.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really bad. I thought of that one, and I was like, "Ooh, yeah, that's not good."
Yeah, like that's a front runner, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, just like being, just going for a nice hike in the woods, and all of a sudden there's a giant brown bear that's gonna eat you.
Yeah.
Or you fall into the wrong enclosure at the zoo, and it's like, oh, there's a polar bear and a lion, and I'm gonna together, and they're gonna absolutely maul me to death. And that
And
doesn't
you're
happen.
conscious, like, I don't want to say the whole time, but you're conscious for at least part of it, probably.
Yeah, good bit.
Which is why that's so bad.
Yeah, there's nothing that's like turning off any of your senses or anything like that, because I'm sure they're like starting with your, arms and legs and
Right.
torso and things like that. So it's like nothing is turning off any of those sensory things from your brain, unless you're like passing out from like the trauma. But like,
yeah,
that's sinkhole bad, but eaten alive very, very bad.
yeah, yeah. That's a front runner for sure.
All right. Up next,
Man.
we got being trampled versus the Iron Maiden.
So Iron Maiden's where they put you in like a little metal thing, right?
Yeah, it's like a big metal coffin with spikes on the inside. That you just
It's that. That's right.
Yeah.
Ooh. I mean, I feel like that would be rather quick, right?
Maybe. Depending on, I mean, it probably might be quick, depending on like how fast they close the coffin, unless they like are looking to torture you.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm looking it up right now. Does an Iron Maiden kill you? I guess. Oh no, it's a torture device.
yeah. Oh well, there you go.
According to the AI overview, boo. But it says that it's mythical? Wait, what?
What?
Hold on, let's see. I'm coming to this right now. Okay, so the top part of the Wikipedia. Oh wait. Yeah, despite its reputation as a medieval instrument of torture, there is no evidence of the existence of Iron Maidens before the 19th century. And it's saying that it's one of those things that might have been invented to like make it seem like the Middle Ages were uncivilized as like a myth. Interesting. I didn't know that about that, to be honest. I was just looking up if they could kill you. I wasn't trying to disprove you.
I guess in your mind they could kill
you. Yeah. Well, sorry, the stream is lagging right now, so I don't remember what it's going up against because it's Trampled. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, that is bad.
Crowd crush or something,
Going out Mufasa style.
Right, yeah, Mufasa
style. Yeah, being crushed by a bunch of rushing people or animals does not sound like a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Iron Maiden's not real, I guess. So.
I didn't know that either. Yeah, but yeah, Trampled, I guess would win that one. Iron Maiden would suck though. That wouldn't be great.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be great. I don't think so.
Ooh.
Next, we got asphyxiation versus starvation. Well, not being able to breathe is a very scary thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long one can survive without air. I think it's not too long.
Yeah, probably not.
a good couple. I feel like a good couple minutes though, maybe.
Yeah.
But starvation is a very prolonged thing.
Well, asphyxiation is also just like choking in general. Like, that's kind of what I was thinking when I put that in there. I don't. It might also pertain to what you were saying about like losing air as well, but I think it's the way I put it though, and like how I guess like to discuss it is more like choking, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary as well.
Yeah, for sure.
The just like the instinct of your body like choking on something is always like the scariest thing. You're like, don't chew your food enough or something.
Right.
And like your body feels like it's about to choke. You go into panic mode, and then like you fuck it up a little bit, and you're able to get it out. Luckily, but it's like, whoop, then you go back to eating right away, and it's fine. But like,
right, just a little near death experience with your meal,
Yeah, but like actually choking and dying from like choking on something.
Yeah,
Ugh,
or being choked. Yeah,
or being choked. Yeah, that's bad too.
Or autoerotic choking.
Yeah,
yeah. It's a big fear of mine.
Big fear of mine gets me rock hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, starvation is the prolonged ones are never good, I don't think.
Right.
It's like not something that I'd like to go through. But I'd rather starve than be choked, I think.
As weird as it is to say, I feel like I agree with you. And like I was looking it up beforehand to see if like starvation like is like physically painful. I don't know, because like in my mind I was like, at a certain point do you just, I don't want to say get used to it because that sounds like super insensitive,
Right.
but like after a while, like do like your receptors and like your body just kind of starts shutting down and you don't feel it as much or something. I don't know.
I'm sure you get used to the stomach pain, or like
right.
just like, and your body just gets used to not getting the sustenance it needs.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But it's probably still painful.
Yeah. Probably not great.
Yeah.
But yeah, like choking. Also, by the way, I did look up asphyxiation. You were completely right. It does just mean not having air. So it is okay. I like to just say choking for this. That was my fault with the terminology. But yeah, choking. Yeah, I feel like because it's something that can just like kind of come out of nowhere too. Like when it comes, like I didn't even really think of it in the context of like food, but you're completely right. That could just like happen on a whim if like something just were to go a little wrong when you're eating by yourself or something like that's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm also feeling asphyxiation choking here.
Yeah. Asphyxiation / choking. If you can't pronounce that word, it's okay. It's a
yeah
word. Up next, we got electrocution versus gun.
Gun. I thought gum was funny, and then like as we were doing this bracket, like right now, I was like, oh, I guess I have firing squad on here, but
yeah, firing squad is a very specific thing, though. Gun can be anything.
Yeah, I feel like firing squad, there's more of a chance of you dying on the spot. Well, when it's just gun, it could, it could be a little more prolonged.
Yeah, you get shot in like the stomach or the kneecap or something like that.
Right.
And neither of those sound fun at all. I think the stomach and the kneecap, I think, are the most painful places from what I've heard or read and things like that. We saw sense. Yeah, but electrocution doesn't sound good either.
Yeah, this is another one where it's like, how much of this do you actually feel? You know what I mean? Especially since it's electrocution and like it's like affecting your nerves and shit. It's like, do you know what's happening, or is it just you feel a buzz and then lights out?
Yeah. But I mean, you see like the people in the like electric chair, and like you see how like tortured they look when that happens. Like, have you ever seen the Green Mile? I don't know if you have.
I know the scene you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it and some people it doesn't take effect right on the first shock. So it's like if it probably doesn't feel good.
probably not. No.
But it's, I don't know. A gun, though, I have like an actual like fear of like guns and being shot and things like that. So it's like
completely fair.
So it's like, and whenever people are like, "Yeah, I like guns. I'm super into guns," like, I don't understand you.
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, just like the thought of being shot is a super scary and like not a great thing to imagine, especially if it's not like boom lights out, and it's like it's a prolonged thing, like you were saying. Like you get shot multiple times and you're just sitting there bleeding out.
Yeah.
There's no way to save your life. Nothing. So I'm feeling gun here, but
yeah, I think me too.
all right.
And in those situations, if only there was a good guy with a gun.
If only.
That's what I said.
Only my teacher had a gun when
Yeah,
school.
exactly. Yeah. Actually, to elaborate just a little bit, yeah, gun. I think for the prolonged aspect of it, I think also would just be worse in general.
Yeah.
What you were saying.
But yeah, next up we got nuclear warfare versus poison.
Oh, this is an odd matchup for a death bracket. Because I feel like there's layers to the nukes. Like actually, there's if you're in the blast zone, I mean, sucks, but like it's a blink of a moment and you're just gone. So like it's not you're not gonna process that, but it's what you need to worry about nuclear warfare is the fallout and being in the I'm forgetting what it's called, but the not death area, but still affected by nuclear blast, which is the majority. Is it the majority? I don't remember what part.
I think so.
Yeah. That's the biggest part of it, I think. And then poison, it's hard to just imagine what poison would be like.
Yeah,
like
in like movies and stuff, it's like if poison's put in your food, it's like sometimes it's like oh god,
yeah,
antidote kind of thing, or like you die in your sleep because of it or something like that. But then there's like the aspect of getting bitten by a poisonous insect.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, and like venom and poison are different things.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
they're still similar.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably just like, your body. I mean, I'm sure we've all consumed something where like your body tries to reject it like immediately.
Right.
At least to some extent. But like I'm guessing it's just that, but like amplified beyond anyone living can comprehend, probably.
Right.
I don't know, but like it's just hard to imagine it. But I guess like with all the things you hear about with nuclear warfare, and especially if you survive nuclear warfare with things coming outside of the bombs dropped in Japan with like people's skin melting and shit like that, like that's once again with spooky season, that's actually horrific. And that is long-term effects for the rest of your life, even if you are lucky enough to survive. So I mean, that feels worse to me, especially if you're dying because of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely, and it's just like, I don't know, just the thought of like being vaporized by a fucking nuke is terrifying.
Yeah.
Like you see like the shadows that were permanently cast on the ground after the bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And it's like that's awful, but like you said, that's a blink of the eye, and you don't feel anything. You're just gone.
Right.
But yeah, those prolonged after effects of like whether it is of a bomb being dropped or maybe like a thing like Chernobyl where a nuclear power plant is like just leaks radiation and you're like, oh well, that's me. That's the end.
No spoilers. I've yet to watch that show, but yes.
But yeah, poison is scary, and I can't even imagine what it feels like. But I mean, I can't imagine what nuclear being radiated feels like either. But
it's like we can't imagine it, but we can conceptualize it like slightly better for some reason.
Yeah, we all saw the gymnasium scene in Oppenheimer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, nuclear warfare is real scary.
Yeah. I would agree.
And all too real.
Yep.
Right. Next up, we got knife versus car.
Yeah. Honestly, being stabbed sounds like it sucks really bad.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I feel like we give the Brits a lot of shit for them, having knives instead of guns when they have their crimes, but like that does sound like worse like than getting shot, to be honestly.
Yeah.
I think obviously guns are a bigger issue than knives just because of the amount of damage that they can do, to be clear about that. But for the actual effects, yeah, I would rather be shot than stabbed.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Hearing people described how being stabbed feels, and
Oh,
like,
I don't even think I've heard that much, and I'm not sure if I want
yeah,
to.
I've seen clips of things where people are like, yeah, I still it feels like fire entering your
Yeah,
body. It
yeah,
does not. It feels awful. And just dying from a stab wound, just sitting there bleeding out, sounds so bad,
yeah,
awful. A car accident can take you out. They could just take you out, and that's the end of it. I mean, it can be prolonged where you like die on the operating table or in the
right.
hospital, ambulance, whatever. But like, knife, you're not. I don't think you're really ever gonna just like die straight up. So
Yeah, and
uh,
something I didn't mention in the last round that I do want to mention before, because I think we're both about to choose knife here.
yeah,
I do want to mention though that I do have a bit of a fear of car related stuff like that, just
yeah,
because it is so normalized in how people drive, and they get desensitized that they are literally driving death machines,
yeah,
in terms of like one thing goes wrong and you get in an accident and it changes everything forever for you and maybe even strangers that you happen to hit or something like that, which is why I have like zero respect for people who fucking drive recklessly, like even like speeding through highways like at
uh,
significant speeds and all that kind of stuff. I think you are a fucking dumbass, and I think it's not taken seriously enough.
yeah.
But yes, I just want to put that out there, but I also choose knife as the worst way to go.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm terrified of car related things like
yeah,
that. That's also a big fear of mine. And like, yesterday, just driving home from John's in the dark and everything on the highway, I was going 80 on a 70, and
yeah.
I was in the left lane. I was going above the speed limit as you're supposed to do in the left lane, but there were still two separate people that were right behind me in my ass, basically.
Yeah,
Just like, and they wouldn't leave, and they flashed their brights at me to make me like either move or go faster. And I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. If you want to go faster, you can go around me, but I
yeah,
am not moving for you. And it's like you don't realize how fucking like dangerous and stupid that is to
yeah,
go 100 miles plus on the highway. It's ridiculous.
yeah.
Um,
But
yeah, cars are scary, but
cars are
dying
terrifying. Yeah,
dying from a knife wound sounds so fucking awful.
yeah, yeah. That's pretty bad. So knife moves on. Yeah.
Um, all right. Up next, we got Avalanche versus Tornado.
Ooh, battle of the natural disasters here.
Yes, sir.
Natural disaster survival. Shout out Spyro 43. Um,
Rest in peace.
rest in peace. um, uh, man. I mean, this is a future one, so but I don't know what I'm trying to say. This is a matchup we've already done. We've done both of these previously.
Yes.
I think I still kind of agree with my point though that I agree with myself. I'm holding true that the buried alive aspect of Avalanche is what is scary about it, and it's like the actual realistic scenario of being buried alive. Um,
Yeah.
and I mean, not realistic for us because we don't got big mountains like that near us. But
Right.
let's say we're skiing in fucking Switzerland, and it just happens. Um, it sounds terrifying. And while tornadoes are more prevalent to us around here, I think avalanche would be more of a worse way to go because of the prolonged aspect of it. Maybe I don't know. Both have a bit of a prolonged bit. Like I'm sure the tornado, you're at least conscious for a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I honestly think I'm feeling more tornado here.
Okay.
I think Avalanche is scary and like just the thought of being crushed or buried alive and not being able to get out is a very terrifying thing. But I don't know, having the fear since childhood of being sucked up in a tornado and dying because of that, it just carries on, and I feel like that's gonna carry on forever for me. So I'm feeling tornado.
I mean, I feel that. I do. now I'm conflicted.
Go with your heart.
I know. What does my heart say? What does my brain? Actually, if anything, my heart says tornado, but it's my brain's leading more towards avalanche just because of what the prolonged, like I was saying, thinking about the logistics, right? What were you saying?
What's your stomach saying then?
Stomach is saying it's pretty full. I had dinner already, so I'm doing okay. Maybe I don't know. I was gonna make some sort of like zombie joke or something, but related to even alive. I don't know. Yeah, I think I might go avalanche here still, even though like I said, I have that fear of tornadoes as well. But yeah, I think it'd be the worst way to go. So what we do in this disagreement, we've been very agreeable thus far. What we do is we do a little verbal game of rock, paper, scissors. We'll say our things, and then whoever wins this matchup, I should never start it like that. Whoever loses this matchup gets to pick the next disagreement, and we just kind of go back and forth between each disagreement until the end. All right. So I'm going to say rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and then after shoot, we will say our thing. Here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, rock. Oh, I'm sorry. I broke my own rules. Okay. Here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot, scissors. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot, rock.
Paper.
Okay, so Colin gets to win this one. He gets tornado to move on, which I'm not mad about.
All right. Tornado moves on. And next, we got opposite sides of the spectrum. We got drowning versus burning alive.
Yeah, this is a classic matchup here. Like, this is... you get the would you rather water or would you rather fire?
Yeah. I don't know. I've heard drowning is one of the worst ways to go out.
Yeah.
But also, like, being on fire. But I don't know how long your your nervous system is on before it shuts off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I've heard that with fire before. That, like, it's so intense that, like, you don't even really feel what's happening to you. I mean, you would probably know what's happening, which is definitely scary. But also, when we're doing this matchup right now, you know what's happening when you're drowning too. So
yeah, that's I, as a person who's always been scared of open water, drowning has been something that scares me a lot. And while I'm never really around open water, drowning is still like really scary. Just like being underwater, not being able to get out of it. And I'm not a very strong swimmer either, so it's like, so yeah, just like running out of air, breathing in water until you die is very scary.
Yeah, and I think I guess not to make it worse, but don't you like your lungs explode as well when you drown? Isn't that a thing?
They might. I'm not sure.
I don't know either. But either way, it's not. Yeah, it's definitely. There's more factors I think that you are physically aware of when you're drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But burning alive and being aware that you're literally on fire is very scary mentally.
Yes.
But I think that I think I've heard that as you burn and your nerves stop working, you start to feel more cold, I think.
I could see that, yeah.
And it's like, that's a scary juxtaposition. But, but I don't know. I feel like drowning is a little more just being aware of that is very scary.
More conscious, yeah.
Being aware of both of these things is very scary, but I think drowning is very bad.
I agree. So I will also vote for drowning here.
Also, they were seed 4 and seed 20, so that was kind of funny.
That is funny, yeah. Yeah, 420 blaze it, yeah, for burning alive. Okay.
Up next, we got crucifixion versus being eaten alive.
Awesome. Man, the Bible should have gone more hardcore with that one. By the way,
Comic Bible goes pretty hard, but
the what Bible? Sorry.
the comic Bible,
Oh, the comic.
version.
Yeah. The comic version. Also, I want to say for the last one, shout out The Last Dinner Party for Burn Alive, and then for this one, shout out Clipping for Eaten Alive. Okay. Anyways, song title references aside. I mean, look, crucifixion would be pretty bad, not gonna lie. I mean, part of that process, I mean, they used to literally show like I went to a pretty progressive church, so like it wasn't like I was raised with the fear of God in my eyes and heart. We weren't really as much into that in our little sect of Christianity. It was more of the welcoming and all are welcome type thing, you know. I just said the same thing twice. Anyways, what I mean to say though is that I feel like the one exception to that was every Easter time they would show clips from Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson shout out of of the crucifixion, of nails getting hammered into hands and one straight through both of your legs, and then being placed up there just to die for a few days out in the Israeli deserts.
Being poked with spears and stuff as well, right? Like,
I don't know if that's like part of the is it? Maybe that is part of the crucifixion. Yeah, I know that's what they did to Jesus.
that's for Jesus. Yeah,
I wasn't sure if that was standard
procedure.
I don't know.
Everyone gets a crown of thorns, and
yeah,
Everyone gets pictures.
And everyone gets to be raised 3 days later. It's actually a hopeful story. No. Either way, though, yeah, getting like that definitely doesn't sound fun at all. Is that worse than eating alive? I don't know.
It's another prolonged thing.
Yeah, but like if both are prolonged, but I feel like crucifixion's prolonged even longer.
yeah. I mean, it's like a starvation, dehydration, but also having your hands nailed through and hands and legs nailed through doesn't sound great.
It doesn't. It's like both are prolonged body horror, which I don't want either of those.
No.
But I think Eaten Alive is definitely more horrific, but it's like
you're very conscious for both of these things, but I feel like watching an animal eat you until you die is a little more scary.
Yeah, just, I feel like that is worse. Yeah.
Like the preparation of the crucifixion as the nails are being driven into your hands and shit is like really bad.
Yeah.
But like after a day or so, it's like, well, I just gotta wait here until I die, I guess, and that's like bad. But I don't know. Watching wild animals eat at you until you die is awful.
Yeah. I agree. Both of these are pretty bad. Like crucifixion could have gotten pretty far against a lot of these other things. But Eaten Alive, like I was saying before, that's a front runner for sure. That's I can't think of much worse.
Yeah, really bad.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Eaten Alive moves on. We got the gallows. Shout out, I don't know how, but they found me, and
yeah, that's a good song. Gallows versus Trampled.
So with the gallows, that's like the line of, well, maybe not specifically the line of nooses, but like being executed in front of people, and like the floor drops from underneath you, or a stool is kicked out from underneath you, and you just hang there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some where it's like the floor drops from underneath you and your neck breaks, and there's others where it's like a prolonged.
That's right. Yeah.
Just and
I
both
mean,
sound bad.
yeah, both do sound bad, but like, is this might be a dumb question. Is neck breaking an instant death? Is that like a you're gone instantly?
I think in most cases,
Okay, because it's like
but
connected to your brain, right, or something.
right.
Yeah,
I mean, people break their neck and survive, but I think from that velocity, it's like not. I don't think it's super survivable.
yeah. Well, no, I mean just in terms of like being conscious.
Right.
You know what
Like
I mean?
instantly don't turn off.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. I'm not sure. Probably. I would
yeah,
say. Um. But I mean, if we're just talking like stool kicked out from underneath you and you're just hanging there, choking
yeah.
to death, that's bad.
That is, yes, that is bad. I almost feel like Trample may be slightly worse though, because you got to think that like was Trample the one that like instantly moved on with Iron Maiden? I think it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, I was gonna say because I feel like I don't remember discussing this. With Trample, it's like multiple things that are happening to you, right? Like you don't die from one kick usually being trampled.
Yeah. No. You,
Probably
you get crushed by multiple people
it's
or animals.
it probably takes a few before you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how we keep bringing up animals. Like, I just think of the Jumanji scene. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Running with the bull situation.
Yeah, well, that's your fault at that point.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, definitely doesn't sound good. I don't know. I almost feel like that's worse to me.
I think so too. I think that, I mean, if you're in the gallows, there might be a reason you were there. You were a bad person, or
Yeah.
you're being unjustified. You're being killed without reason.
Mhm.
But you know, trampled. That's like that. Yeah, that's scary. That's another conscious thing. I mean, so
Right.
is hanging. But, I don't know.
I
I think trampled is a little scarier.
Yeah, I think just for the simple reasoning of like multiple blunt force trauma to like
Mhm.
various places on your body all at once. Not even really all at once, but like over time.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty bad. I think
Yeah.
I may go trampled here.
Yeah. Me too. I'm
Yeah.
feeling right.
All right.
Uh, And next, we got Bleeding Out versus Asphyxiation. Shout out Imagine Dragons for Bleeding Out.
You beat me. Beat me to it.
Ah, damn it.
Also for asphyxiation, I remembered as we were leaving it in the last round, I remembered the Bo Burnham lyric, which is the first time I heard the term asphyxiation. I think it's appropriate to bring up here. If I die happy, the situation is autoerotic asphyxiation. And I just wanted to bring light to that.
For that.
Yeah. Anyways, bleeding out. I feel like bleeding out pertains to a few of the things we have here. You know, knife, gun, uh, firing squad potentially.
Potentially. Yeah. I don't know. I talked about bleeding out with gun and knife, but like I don't know,
Yeah,
just the act of bleeding out due to like I don't know, maybe it was like even an accidental thing, like you cut yourself while working, or you cut yourself while like making food on accident,
yeah,
and it's like straight up bleeding out, and there's no way to like stop the bleeding or anything like that.
yeah,
Um, that's very scary. I don't know how long you stay conscious or anything, but
yeah.
bleeding to death doesn't sound good.
No, it definitely doesn't. Um, it's just like I don't know. I feel like bleeding out is like super open ended. Like deceivingly so. Because there's a lot of different ways it could happen. Uh, Meanwhile, I mean, choking, I guess, is pretty open ended as well.
Yeah.
Really. I don't know. Both of these, both of these are just kitchen kitchen nightmares.
Good show.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out Gordon Ramsay, friend of the pod. Um, um, I don't know. I feel like I feel the same about these two.
blood is scary to me. I've always been scared of blood.
Yeah.
Gore is not like great.
Yeah.
Like I'm when I see gore in like movies and things, it's like whatever. But in real life, seeing people bleed is like, ugh.
Yeah. My buddy
So
Daniel's really bad about that too. Yeah.
yeah, and especially if it's myself bleeding, it's like, ugh, I
Oh.
don't like that.
Yeah.
Especially like profusely, like, ugh.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I don't
like
know.
strangely okay with it. Like it doesn't really impact me too much. I'm just like, oh, I'm bleeding. What the hell? Yeah.
It's like a little bit of blood, I'm fine. But if it's like I'm bleeding and it's like coming out real good,
Yeah.
then I'm like, ugh, I don't like that. But
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, I don't know. I think choking on something or being choked by somebody. I think situations where another person is killing you is a little worse,
Yeah.
maybe. But I don't know. I'm kind of split here. What are you thinking?
I am too, honestly. I honestly, for some reason, I feel like I'm being driven more towards choking, but I can't really put it into words. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just to me, it just feels scarier, I guess. But once again, like I guess blood just isn't as impactful to. I mean, like it would still fucking suck. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
But
right.
I just like by a small margin, I think I'm feeling asphyxiation, but I can't really put it into words why. To be honest with you.
I can go with you with asphyxiation because both of these are equally kind of fucked up for me. So
Yeah, yeah, they're equally fucked up, but they're not like, oh my god, oh it's terrible, you know.
yeah, no. Yeah.
A lot of moral quandaries in our death bracket.
All right. Next, we got crushed by water pressure
Oh
versus.
man.
And you know, if you think about the submarine with the billionaires last year, that's kind of what I think. But also, that's like an instant thing. So,
Yeah.
um,
What would be like another example of crushed by water pressure?
I mean, if you swim down too far, like if you're in like a scuba
True.
situation, you swim down too far, like it just like crushes your body and lungs and things. And
Yeah.
I think it's more of an instant thing, but just like the thought of being crushed by
Yeah.
pressure is bad.
It definitely is scary. Yeah, the thought of it for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I was running out of things
That's
to
fair. No, it's okay.
put on here. It's not scary. I'll put it on.
It is scary. It is scary. But I think what we've been talking about with like the instantaneous and like the prolonged stuff, I think kind of separates. And gun can definitely be prolonged.
oh
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I was originally gonna put crushed by a falling piano, but yeah, I didn't.
That would be pretty funny, actually.
Damn it.
I was trying to think of funny things like that. That would have been a good one.
Oh, that gun is scarier though.
I think so. Yeah, in terms of worst way to die. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Gun moves on, and next we got dehydration versus nuclear warfare.
Mm. Well,
Uh,
I mean, dehydration is shorter than starvation, by quite a
true.
bit,
Yeah.
but would suck. It would suck, but I think what we were talking about with nuclear warfare last time, and just like that fucks you up for the rest of your life, not just for the couple
Yeah.
days you're alive.
That's very true.
Yeah,
Imagine having a dry mouth to death, though. That doesn't sound good.
it really doesn't. No, to dry throat to death. Yeah. Um. Yeah, it definitely doesn't sound great, but
Yeah.
I think I don't know the effects of like radiation and shit. Like if you're really in that blast zone, or well, actually if you're not quite in that blast zone, I think makes that, you know, I feel like that's worse. Some of
Oh
those
yeah,
things that happen there.
it's definitely worse.
Yeah.
Dehydration. I don't. There's not many situations where you'd be in that kind of scenario. I think that like
Right.
maybe if you're like stranded in the desert,
Yeah.
something like that. But I don't know. I think you can find water fairly easily
Yeah.
out in a rural or urban area. So I think it'd be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, nuclear warfare is scary.
Yep. Agreed. Also, there was a video I saw a while ago about it was a really good video. Maybe I should send it your way. It was like this guy who was in like a race in was it Morocco? I think it might have been Morocco. But like it was like a foot race in the desert, and he like lost track of where he was during a sandstorm, and was like stranded for so long, and like he just went through like this crazy journey, before like ending up in another country and getting help there to get home.
Right.
It's a good video. I think it was by Real Life Lore, but yeah.
That's cool. I'll have to check that out. Sounds interesting.
Anyways, knife versus tornado.
Knife tornado.
This is yeah, I was gonna say this is a YouTube video right here. Knife versus tornado.
Mr. Beast. I put 50 people in a knife tornado, and whoever survives gets $1 million bajillion.
Yeah, it's Sharknado, but yeah.
and a lifetime supply of lunch leaf.
Yeah. We should put shark on here. I guess that's eaten alive, but
yeah.
Oh man, actually, wait, hold on. I'm just conceptualizing this now. These are both pretty bad.
Yeah. Knife and tornado.
Knife and tornado.
Is the voice one?
Yeah. Knife. Yeah, I think I'm feeling knife too. I think the fear of tornado is really bad, but the
reality of knife.
The reality of being stabbed by knife.
Yeah.
Not
good.
Not good. I don't think.
Yeah.
And just like like I said, the accounts of people I've heard being stabbed and like surviving and things like that sounds really really fucking awful.
Yeah.
But I don't know the probability or the possibility of you same difference of surviving a tornado. But if you're just gonna get flung, and like you said, if you're passed out due to like the speed of your body moving, you may not be conscious of it, but it's more like the lead up kind of thing that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
But like being stabbed with a knife and the prolonging of that's very bad. And I would not like to do that.
I think I agree with you there. Yeah.
All right.
Knife.
Tornado, but
prayers for our British brethren out there.
Up next, we got drowning versus eaten alive.
Oh,
those are both really bad.
They are. But I mean, it's a Titan. I gotta be honest with you. Like
it is.
Like eaten alive would last even longer than drowning. Probably at least. And it's. I think you're feeling a lot more and conscious of a whole lot more happening with eaten alive than with drowning, to be honest.
And like if you combine the two, I mean, you got sharks. Like
yes. Shout out to sharks that we were talking about.
Piranhas or an alligator. Alligators.
Right.
Get in the death roll. You don't want that.
I think. Yeah. I think it just has to go to it, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. Drowning is awful, but eaten alive is terrifying.
Both of them are ones where you're very conscious of what's happening and that you're not getting out of it, which it's just terrible. But eaten alive is
icky.
It's icky. Yeah. Ew.
Ew. Up next, we got trampled versus asphyxiation.
Kind of a somewhat similar thing here.
Similar,
I don't know why.
Similar in my mind too. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We can't justify it, but it's the vibes, Yeah, I mean, kind of the same thing with. I guess we kind of had this matchup because I think Trample went up against Gallows, right?
I believe so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I think just like the multiple blunt force trauma of being trampled and like all the things that could and can happen to you when being trampled versus, I mean, being choked is not great and choking to death unless you're into that, being choked. I mean, but I don't know. I think trampled is a worse way to go for me here. just because of, I don't know. Like I said, all the multiple things happening. I don't think it's it's just a one-time hit and you're out for trample.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you might get lucky and get like kicked in the head and pass out.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I feel like a lot of times you're conscious of just people or animals running over you.
Yeah.
Bones breaking and things like that.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Being choked, scary unless you're into it, but
scary or sensual.
both.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think trampled is worse as well.
Okay.
All right, trampled is done. Don't have to say asphyxiation anymore, thank God.
Yep.
And got gun versus nuclear warfare.
Shout out America for both of these.
I think Green Day made an album about these things or something like that.
Probably, yeah.
I think it was Father of All Motherfuckers, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, they're magnum opus, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. While nuclear warfare is like a real possibility of things happening in the world today, and the prolonged effects of the radiation fucking your life up until you die, or just like making your life miserable as you live, really bad.
I mean,
but gun.
I'm sorry. No, you can tell. You can tell. Just fine.
I don't know. Guns are real scary. I don't know. Like I said, I do not understand when people have a fixation on guns because they are death instruments, much like cars, as we were saying earlier. It's like, okay, why? But I don't know. These are both real bad.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm thinking of like, even some of the more like instantaneous, well, not the most instantaneous parts of nuclear warfare, but like, the stuff like skin melting or stuff like that, just very painful things that can occur as of a giant explosion. I don't know. I feel like to me that outweighs, even though gun can be pretty bad. I mean, I wouldn't want to get shot either. I think getting exploded is worse in my mind.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Exploded and radiated. Yeah.
Shout out Fallout.
Shout out Fallout. Yeah. Shout out Fallout Boy.
All right. Next we got knife versus eaten alive.
Both terrible for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like eaten alive is just knife over and over and over again.
Yeah, honestly. That's true.
Yeah. A knife plus grasp and pressure.
Yeah. Being like torn apart and shit like that.
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean both of these could go hand in hand if it's like a cannibal.
True, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. Yeah, eaten alive is real bad.
It is.
I kind of hit the gold mine when I put
you
that
did.
one in.
You did. Yeah.
Yeah, knife very bad. But what you said is very true. So I think I'm gonna have to go with eaten alive.
Yeah. I didn't even really think about that until they were put up together. I'm like, huh.
Oh, yeah.
It makes sense why we're saying both of these are pretty bad.
All right, so we got trampled versus nuclear warfare.
I think it's nuclear warfare for me here.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just more severe.
All right, and our final matchup. You're either eaten alive by animals or eaten alive by radiation.
Eaten alive by the American dream. Yeah, eaten alive versus nuclear warfare. Both are bad for sure.
Yeah. For me, I think it comes down to the fact that nuclear warfare can be instantaneous, whereas eaten alive is a very prolonged and painful thing.
it's a very prolonged and also very conscious thing, which is why it's
Yeah.
so well. Okay, it's really the trifecta of prolonged consciousness and just like absolutely horrific. Like
Right.
it's like a perfect, for this list thing. I feel like
Yeah.
it's a perfect
Definitely.
storm. I agree, and like we were saying before, obviously the effects of nuclear warfare are awful as well, but I think
Yeah.
Eaten Alive is even worse.
Yeah.
So
I think as well. I think. I mean, we've talked at length about both of these, and they're both awful. But I think Eaten Alive it takes the cake for just a horrific way to die,
yeah,
and that's really what this
that's what it's all
bracket.
about. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
All right.
where'd it go? There it is. Eaten Alive wins our worst ways to die bracket.
Hell yes. Shout out clipping again, like I said. Uh, yeah. It would be pretty bad.
It
That's
would
my
be,
that's my seal of approval.
yeah, I think so too.
would
So
would kind of not be poggers.
I don't, I don't think so. I think that'd be pretty bad. I mean, you get a boom.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Oh yeah, we should definitely do that for. I wonder if I added that in last Halloween. That just teeth shattering noise or the whatever.
Uh, but you should add, uh, as we have Vine Boom, but you should add the big Justice Boom as well. I
We
think.
bring the boom. Yeah, yeah, I think that would be good.
Boom or boom. But yeah, that was our worst ways to die bracket. Hope
hmm.
you enjoyed, and if you disagree or you agree with us, let us know.
Yeah, let us
I'd love
know
to,
your worst way to die.
would love to hear. Tell us what we missed. Tell us what we could have included.
uh,
Um,
tell
and
us
then we
how we
could
could
do
have been more inclusive. Yeah,
yeah, we could have done. We could do a second one.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, that was morbid, but happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. That's the real fear. That's the real scariness of this
And,
year. Um, but yeah, sick. Well, unless you got anything else. Sorry, I just find it funny. After that, I just go sick. Um, unless you got anything else, I think we can get into song of the week here.
yeah, I'm good to go.
Cool. All right. Well, you are up first with our song of the week, Colin.
All right. Well, I did listen to that. Oh my goodness. I did listen to that System of a Down album, and one of the songs that I did recognize and that I did enjoy quite a bit is called Sugar. So I'm gonna go with Sugar by System of a Down.
All right.
All right, that was Sugar by System of a Down. What do you think, Mike?
That was very good. I was not expecting that. I guess I mean, like I knew it was gonna be kind of heavy and metally-ish, but like
Uh,
very interesting song for sure.
yeah.
I think I've only really properly listened to like Chop Suey and the song Toxicity
Uh-huh.
from System of a Down before, but like man, his vocal inflections are really crazy on this one.
I know.
Like
He's-
he's just jumping all over the place, but it all like works. And then that whole ending section was really cool. I was not expecting that any of that to happen.
yeah.
Um, and it is wild because I also watched that last meals with with the lead singer Serge, and
Uh-huh.
he seems like such a like sweet wise old guy in that video, and then in this he's like a little demon. But it's great though. It's awesome. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. Yeah,
I wasn't expecting you to enjoy it as much as you did, but I'm
yeah,
glad you did. Yeah, I recognize the ending part where he's I sit in my desolate room. That part I recognized that, and I was like, oh, okay, that's this song. But I love that bass line that goes through the dum 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 dum.
yeah,
Dum.
yeah.
And also the way that the other guy goes sugar. It's but yeah, that's something that I've also noticed with System of a Down. The way that Surge is just like he goes all over the place. He's like either he's doing that like growly metal scream kind of thing, or he's singing in the way that he does for a lot of the track. But it's super cool, super interesting, and I've enjoyed that. I'd be interested in going through the rest of the albums, but what I've heard, I've enjoyed. And yeah, it's also like as you were talking about the way that he talks, just in his normal voice. It's like he's like a soft-spoken, older, nice sounding dudes. Hearing his inflections and stuff is like kind of crazy, but
yeah,
super cool. But yeah, that was Sugar. What do you got, Mike?
cool. Well, I didn't really listen to too much this week, like I said. So I'm gonna go into dip into my potential songs of the week that I've been collecting at the bottom of my thing. And one of the, that was a very busy day, October 4th. A lot of things came out that day. But something I didn't get to highlight was something from that new Smile record, which I thought was pretty good. But there was a few songs on there that I did really enjoy, and one of my favorites that I keep returning to and enjoying a lot is called Instant Psalm by The Smile. All right, that was Instant Psalm by The Smile. What do you think of that, Colin?
That was very pretty. I can kind of see what you meant with this album kind of sounding. What did you said this album kind of sounded more like a Radiohead-esque thing than the other Smile stuff, right?
A little bit. It has a little bit of a slower nature to. Well, I don't know. Like kind of yes and no. It depends on the track. It's a little bit more disjointed. There's a lot of ideas on the project, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah. I can see this song being on a Radiohead record. I like the slowness, the somberness to it. I liked the strings as well. It also kind of felt like a slower Beatles song, especially with those strings, like I was saying. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was very pretty and very, just a nice, chill vibe.
Yeah, I enjoyed that track quite a bit. Sorry. I enjoyed that track quite a bit. I like the strings a lot on it. I think Johnny Greenwood did really great with the orchestration and everything on there. I think just texturally, I really love all the sounds going on. I'm not sure if you use headphones when we do these nowadays, but it's a very good headphones song. And yeah, I like Tom's like really low key vocal delivery on it too. I just it has like this folky feel that I think is just really nice folky Beatlesy, like you said. Yeah, I that's just a track that's been sticking with me. I just really love the sounds on that one. It's really pleasant to listen to.
Yeah, for sure. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Cool. Well, if you are all good, we can wrap up this longer episode here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on our Freaky Fellas adventure. Hope it was freaky for you as it was for us. I hope we hope we spooked you a little bit thinking about the thing everyone loves thinking about. It was a fun one. But if you are watching on streaming services, thank you. We appreciate you very much for doing so. But you can never mind. You can. I was about to make a really stupid joke. You can see our brackets over on YouTube. See all those options. See what they're going against. Get a little visualizer for that, as well as our second year in a row Batman themed freaky fellas with Nam and the Joker baby, and you can come see those beautiful profile pictures in our profile pictures. And but also underneath on YouTube under the same name, Broken Boys, capital MBOIS. We have the links to the Song of the Week playlists, that little segment that we just did. You can find a whole bunch of stuff in there. In 3 of those playlists, we got one down there for me, we got one down there for Colin, and we got one down there for both of us combined, along with our guests. And in those playlists, you can find Sugar by System of a Down or Instant Psalm by The Smile, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. Some more Halloween-y themed if you get lucky. Yeah, go check those out. A lot of really good content in there. I've been doing that segment for almost 200 episodes now. Woo! But yeah, as for personal stuff, I have links down there for my music. I make music under the name Plaintive. I have an album out called Coping Mechanism, and I'm working on stuff. Stuff did get worked on this week as well. I forgot to mention that, to getting some good traction on a song that I'm enjoying. Yeah. But you can check out links to Spotify, Apple Music down there. Catch up on your Plaintive lore. And yeah, cool. Do that. Thank you. I also have an album of the year page down there where I rate and review music. I also have my Instagram as well as my YouTube and TikTok, and I think that's mostly it. Man, dear viewer, in proximity to you, I am
I mean, I know proposals are very hard to. They're very hard to plan.
Yes, yeah. In fact, I'm procrastinating planning the proposal by going trick-or-treating this Halloween as Nam, as Batman with little devil horns and whited out eyes. I'm a little trick-or-treater, and I'm hiding the wedding ring from you as a ring pop in my little pillow sack, because I am trick-or-treating as a 23-year-old Batman. That's me. And I don't know, dear viewer, you're just like across the street from me. as we're trick-or-treating. You're on a separate path, I'm behind you. Yeah, that's what I chose. Colin, though, he also has some things down there below. He runs our socials, our Twitter page where he updates when videos are posted, as well as our TikTok page where he posts little funny things that we do on this podcast, little funny quips and jokes and bits. Quips and bits. That's better. Quips and bits. And he also has some personal stuff as well. He's got an album of the year page where he rates and reviews music. He's got a letterbox where he rates and reviews movies. Any new ones in there for this week?
Not this week, but I plan on watching some horror movies on Halloween. So
ooh, get ready and prepared for that, folks.
Oh yeah, riveting stuff.
Yeah. And he also has a Instagram review page.
You do.
And Colin, what is your what is your relation to our dear viewer?
Well, my proximity to our dear viewer is, well, while you guys are out trick-or-treating, as you're definitely of age to trick-or-treat still, ages, you guys are gonna head on over to my house.
Actually, wait, I think we should clarify right now that the viewer is over the age of 18.
Yeah, it's adult trick-or-treating in the adults only neighborhood. And our dear viewer and Mike are going to be walking up to my house to ring my doorbell. I'm not, I like trick-or-treating, but I like handing out candy more. So the dear viewer is going to ring my doorbell, and I'll be right in front of them, and you'll be behind them waiting to get your candy as well. But I'm gonna open up that door, and I'm gonna, and our dear viewer and you, I hope, are both gonna say trick or treat. But you, being too excited to hold back this proposal you've been planning for a long time. You're gonna whip out that wedding ring pop, engagement ring pop, from your from your bag. You're gonna get down on one knee and you're gonna go. And you're gonna what are you gonna say? How are you gonna propose to me?
I'm gonna say, "Joke baby, will you marry me?"
Oh, that's so sweet, and I will have no choice but to say yes. And
exactly, that's usually how those go. Yeah, they got no choice but to say yes.
And we're all gonna be excited. Our viewers gonna be so excited that their favorite podcast hosts are finally getting married, and they're going to we're all gonna get together and hug, and the viewer will be in between us, though that's a little invasive on this special moment. It's okay because they like our podcast, so that's perfectly fine. And the Joker baby, Batman, and our dear viewer are going to be in a big embrace with the viewer in the middle. And since we just got engaged, I'm going to look at you with tears in my eyes and go, "It's me, baby." And we're going to engage in a nice, long, sloppy kiss. And it's going to taste like chocolate and other Halloween candies because it is Halloween. And we're going to do that right next to our dear viewer's head as we embrace in what we like to call the love cage. So, and if you would like your very own love cage, though it may not be as special as this one,
it'll be special in its own way.
Oh yeah, they're all special in their own way. Don't get me wrong, but if you'd like your very own, which I know you do, all you gotta do is drop your address in the comments below, and we will find you. You won't know when, you won't know where, but we will find you, and we give you your very own love cage. So don't hesitate, because those are great.
Absolutely, we have a really great Yelp review section. Some very highly esteemed organization. Don't have to worry about anything. So
true. And
absolutely.
I hope you enjoyed this 4th edition of Freaky Fellas. It's another one in the books, and
that's right.
We will see you next week for our track by track review on Chromacopia by Tyler the Creator. But for now, we'll say happy Halloween and have a good spooky night.
Woo!